माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी राधा माधव कुंजा बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा गो प्रमाण दे हरि गो एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस गुरुराज का जरा स्तोत्र शतस्य श्रीमद् के श्री भक्त वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस गुरुराज का जरा स्तोत्र शतस्य श्रीमद् के श्री भक्त सिद्धांत ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत पदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय, श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगम यमुना माई की जय, भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल। Hallelujah to us immortal, Hare Krishna. 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 Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Gopal की जय। ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधान नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारण विशेष शून्यवाद वाचांचले स्थान। Thank you very much for joining. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, Opulence of the Absolute, verse number 39. 1 minute, start. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityanam Jevanarottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayan. नष्टाप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Chapter 10, verse number 39 and 40 today we'll cover. यश्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहम् अर्जुना न तदस्ति विना यत् स्यान् मया भूतं च अचरम्। यश्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहम् अर्जुन न तदस्ति विना यत् स्यान् मया भूतं चराचरम्। यश्चापि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तदहम् अर्जुन न तदस्ति विना यत् स्यान् मया भूतं चराचरम्। Yes, whatever, cha also, api maybe, sarvabhutanam of all creations, bijam seed, tat that, aham I am, Arjuna, O Arjuna, na not, tat that, asti there is, vina without, yat which, syat exists, maya me, bhutam created being, chara acharam moving and non-moving. Translation by Jivanges A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Gopal Vijay. Furthermore, Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. Everything has a cause. That cause or seed of manifestation is Krishna. Without Krishna's energy, nothing can exist. Therefore, he is called omnipotent. Without his potency, neither the movable nor the immovable can exist. Whatever existence is not founded on the energy of Krishna is called Maya, that which is not. At the verse number 40 also we'll try to understand what is the seed. Much more deep understanding we'll try to understand. Verse number 40. नान्तोऽस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परं तप एष तु उद्देशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया न अन्तो अस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तप एष तु उद्देशतः प्रोक्ता विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया नान्तोऽस्ति अस्ति मम दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परन्तप एष तु उद्देशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतेर्विस्तरो मया not anta a limit asti there is mama my divyanam of the divine vibhutinam opulences parantapa o conqueror of the enemies esha all this too but uddeshata as examples prokta spoken ubhute of opulences vistara the expanse maya by me translation by Sri Prabhupada. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. Which I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Repeat. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. Divya Vibhuti now. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. So it is unlimited. Lord is only describing very teeny portion. As situated in the Vedic literature, although the opulence and energies of the Supreme are understood in various ways, there is no limit to such opulences. Therefore, not all the opulences and energies can be explained. Simply a few examples are being described to Arjuna to pacify his inquisitiveness. So, we'll try to understand now. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देवतानं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्ति रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय प्रभुपाद की जय गौर भक्तों की जय थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग today's class. So we're discussing chapter 10, Opulence of the Absolute in Bhagavad Gita, the middle six chapters speaking about the Bhakti Yoga process, especially because that is the cream, that is the jewelry box. The lower portion of jewelry box is first six chapters of Karma Yoga. The top portion is last six chapters, which is Jnana Yoga. And then the middle six chapters is the real essence, and the cream is Bhakti Yoga. So we are in that cream. To open the jewelry box to get the inside stuff. Then there are two keys for that, which are the Manmanava Madbhakto Madhyaj Imam Namaskuru Mami Vasatante Pratijana Yosne. That verse is being repeated in 9th chapter and 18th chapter. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer obeisance to me. These four things, if you do, you'll come to me. Lord Krishna is stressing. So that is one of the key. That means chanting, hearing, remembering, worshipping, all those aspects. So Srinvanti Gayanti, Smaranti Abhiknasaha, Maranti Nandanti, Tavehitam, Pasyanti Acharena Tava. By simply hearing, chanting, remembering, glorifying, and having others glorifying, one can get the ecstatic bliss and very quickly see face to face the Lord also. It is possible if one execute devotion service. So that is one of the key. The other key is the surrender. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam. So these two are the keys of jewelry box to the middle six chapters of Bhakti Yoga. So that's why it is in the middle, not in the beginning, not at the end. Now the 10th chapter, today's verses are 39 and 40. 39 is describing the seed. Even though Lord explained in the beginning of 7th chapter, Krishna is describing Bijoham Sarvabhutanam Namam what is it? Bijoham Sarvabhutanam. Forget the second line. So I am the seed giving father, or I am the seed of all existences. Is already mentioned in another place, I think chapter 14, or maybe I think chapter 8 or 9 somewhere. Aham bija pradapita. So few places he already mentioned. Now in this 10th, this chapter, this verse, last verses in this opulence section, Krishna is mentioning again that as sarva bhutanam of all the living entity, whether it's moving or non-moving, chara or achara, moving or non-moving, I am the seed giving father. Now let's understand what is seed. How these living entities are being. There are 9 types of living entities, starting from aquatics all the way to human beings, and there are different numbers. Shastra is giving how many grades of living entities. Living entities are innumerable in the material world and spiritual world, but the types of living, like human beings, are described as 400,000 types of human beings are there, like demigods, Gandharvas, Siddhas, Charanas. There are different grades. It's not same category of living entities. And so in that way, anyway, there are 9 types, but the main seed, when we say seed, there are 4 categories. The important categories are the all in all, we have to divide in 4 ways living entities are generated. Lord Krishna Shastra describes that one is Udbija, and one is Jarayuja, another one is Svedaja, another one is Andaja. These are the 4 ways living entities are generated. One is Svedaja. So Svedaja means Andaja means coming from the egg. Andaja, like the birds. Birds are born from the egg using that particular part of creation. That is kind of the seed, one of the seed. Udbija means the trees, the plants, the creepers, the herbs, all these are type of plants. These are born from the seed. When you sow the seed, the tree, the plant grows. So that is they are born from this kind of udbija. That is one type. Andaja is another type where birds and some of the animals they lay the eggs, they sit on it, they ferment it, and enough. Yeah. So then gradually the hen and whatnot. So that is andaja. And then svedaja. Svedaja means perspiration. So that's why we have perspiration, things will come out. The bugs, insects. Mm. That's why we have to keep things clean. Many times we have bed bugs when you go to even people's houses, not even in the restaurant, not even in the hotels, but even people's houses. Because if you don't keep clean, you'll get bed bugs, you will get cockroaches, whatnot. So that's why we have to keep things clean always. So that's why we have to take bath minimum twice a day, whether like it or not like it, whether it's hot or winter, summer or winter, doesn't matter. Ideally, we should take twice because always sweat is coming, perspiration is coming always. It is good. So the blankets to be washed, the towels to be washed, all these things has to be properly clean. That is cleanliness must be there because otherwise bugs will come. So which is not so good. So that bugs are generated from the perspiration. And third one is the Jarayuja, embryo, like we are born. So many of the animals are born like that. So these are the 4 categories of ways the living entities are generated. And living entities, all living entities, including human beings, have the desires. Everybody has a desire. So these are also called the seed of desire. We are produced just like you plant a seed, then trees are grown. But not only the tree, but the unwanted creepers also grow. Unwanted plants also grow. Even when you cut up or when you do agriculture, even then, generally every 6 months or every time they grow a new crop, they till the land and they wipe it out and everything. But still, again, when they put the rice paddy or whatever different seeds, depending on what they are growing, again, still not only the actual the seeds what they are putting, even unwanted seeds, the weeds also grow along with it. So that's why when Krishna says, if you say, Bhagavati, you read this verse, and it is done. Just Krishna says, I am the seed of all existences, moving and non-moving, done. What are we learning? The real learning is underpinning, the undercover of what exactly the seed is, why the living end is born in this material world, and how one can actually become free from the six anarthas and six lamentations, and we always be happy. That's why nobody is looking for distress, but still distress is coming. Nobody wants to die, but still death is coming. So everybody is looking for the highest transformative knowledge, but the material knowledge is coming most of the time. So that is Sat Chit Ananda. So that's why we are trying to get this happiness, knowledge, everything through artificial means. So that's why the seed of desire has to be understood. What is that? The various seeds are, Shastra is explaining. There is a karma beej, there is a gnana beej, there is yoga beej, and there is a beej of bhakti, pure devotion. That's it. As Rupa Goswami is describing. Anyavilashita sunyam, gnana karmadhyanavrtam anukulyan krishnanusilvam. This Anyavilashita sunyam. Anything which is devoid of Krishna prema, that is called Anya. Anya beej. Yes. It comes under karma beej, which means fruitive activities. You want something in return. You want to do some work, you want something. It could be like ordinary job. You want to get money paid, payment for the work you do. If your boss, your manager doesn't pay, then how long are you going to work? Maybe 1 month max, or a few days, or in one day. You'll quit. Soon they stop the payment. It is all based on duty. But the devotion service bhakti is not based on duty. Lord Krishna is not obligated to respond, reciprocate. One is doing out of duty. That's why you will see in today's world many temples may be empty. The worship may not be going on. Why? It is all because it has become a fashion, it has become a duty. When things are done out of duty, Lord is is not obligated to respond, reciprocate. But if one is done because he doesn't need it, जन्माद्यस्य यथा अन्वयात् यत्रतश्चार्देशविघ्नस्वरा तेने ब्रह्महृदय आदिकवये यन्ति यत्सूर तेजो वारिमृतां यथा विनिमयो तृतीयसर्गो अमृत दाम्ना स्वेन निरस्तकोहम satyam param धीमहि. He is telling Swarat, I am self-sufficient. I don't need anybody's help. I don't need anything from anyone because everything is coming from me. As he mentioned in this verse, seed. I am the seed giving father. All including Lord Brahma. We'll come to Lord Brahma's example. I'm the seed. So he doesn't need. And he's Abhigna. He knows everything in and out, what's going on in the material world, in each and every living entity, and what's going on in the spiritual world. Everything he knows. So he doesn't need any. But only he's accepting because he's very much is the a well-wishing friend. Whether we are theists, whether we believe or not believe, still he's supplying. Is very favorably supplying all necessities to all living entities. Not only human being, but all living entities, whether in the forest, whether in the water, wherever you are, whatever type of living entity, he is supplying. He's only seeing, okay, someday he's going to turn towards me. You will understand and realize that this is not my permanent place. You'll understand that these are all other anya beej. This is not the real seed. And he will realize it. And he will go, until that point, I'll keep educating him, keep sending education through Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. I'll myself will appear also to revive him, to reveal him. That's why Kunti Maharani's prayers in the beginning I mentioned. Srinvanti, Gayanti, Smaranti, Nandanti, Tave Hitam Jana. Acharena Tavakam. So he has come to rejuvenate the hearing and chanting and remembering, to take us back. One meaning of Bhagavan is one who comes down to share his opulence and take the living entities back to the spiritual world. That is his mission. That's why he's sending the representative, spiritual master. That's why he's sending Shastra. That's why he himself is coming, appearing. Not so much, not so much to kill the demons. That is not his main business. That is only to attract, to perform his leelas, so that different people, some people are attracted to the different genres of movies, the action-packed thrill and different like that. Lord Krishna also performs, so that different types of living entities get attracted to different types of his leela. Somebody gets attracted to his cunning and thief. stealing pastime, some are attracted to his chivalrous pastime. So like that. So Lord performs different and different shape in different forms. As Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar, Varaha Avatar, different purposes because not every individual is same. Everyone is not of the same rasa, same taste. So that's why Lord also performs all these different rasas, different pastimes, so that we get the real taste and understanding and attraction and then go back home. That is the purpose. So now coming back to that seed, Anya Vilashita Sunyam Grana Karmadhyanavutam Anukulya Krishna Anusilam. So that's why the seed has to be purified. We'll come to that purification, but we should understand this seed. As we understood that four types of categories would be just Vedaja, Andaja, Jalayuja. Then we're understanding that as and the agriculture feed things are again and again keep coming. It's even after plowing because unless the desire to enjoy is completely burned out, it grows up again and again, just like agriculture field, just like the camper. You put camper and you clean that earthy plate or whatever wherever you put, and then again still it has a smell of camphor after multiple washes on it goes. So similarly, desire, the seed of desire is also not destroyed so easily. The fruitive activity, the proclivities in the heart is not destroyed. That's why going to the forest, renouncing, as Arjuna is telling, I don't want to fight. I want to go to forest. But that's not going to remove your proclivities. The unwanted desires are still going to be there in the heart. It cannot be purified by just renouncing, oh, it's too difficult. I can't do this. I can't handle it anymore. I will renounce. I will give up my family life. I will give up my job. Go where? Go. I will go where and do what? So without purification, wherever you go, the same. Some Grihasthashram people will think, oh, married life is too difficult. Brahmacharya is better. But everywhere, everyone has a problem. Different types of problems. No one is barred from the anxieties in this world. Everybody has, including demigods also, including Lord Brahma also. Everyone has anxieties. Everyone has threefold miseries. No one is barred. It's just that different types and enjoyment is at different levels. That's all. Opulences are at different levels, depending on which planet they are in. So that's what one must understand. So unless one's desires are completely transferred to the service of the Supreme Lord, then gradually the whatever other seeds, anya beej, the karma beej, gnana beej, yoga beej, karma means fruitive activities, gnana beej means renouncing and going somewhere, that is gnana beej. This is material, this is spiritual, renouncing things and going to the forest and trying to study the Vedas like that. So that is Jnana. And then yoga means trying to meditate on the this yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahar. That is also artificial renouncing, basically. Unless you have, it is very difficult in Kali Yuga. Krishna himself is mentioning in 12th chapter. It's very difficult to perform this Jnana, Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga, different kinds of this yoga process and meditating on Paramatma. Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta saktachetam. Avyakta hi gatur dukkham dehavadviravapit. It's extremely difficult in this because mind is not stable. The senses are always agitated. So how you are going to do? You cannot even come to pranayam properly. Forget of even pratyahar. Then where is the question of dhyana and dharana and samadhi? The last three stages, there is no question coming to there. So that's why it's not so easy. And that's why Lord Krishna is mentioning that even when Lord Brahma is born, how did he get born? Even the tree example is given. So Lord is explaining in the 12th canto that just as seed grows into a tree that produces thousands of new seeds, the material desires also develop, just like the when we get married, people get married and they have children. Same way, when you grow a seed, uh, put in a soil, then tree is produced, and from tree again seeds develop. Same way, our desires will go on. The living entities are going on, means more and more. So desires are going on. This is an endless cycle. So the material desire develop into fruitive activity that stimulates thousands of new desires within the heart of the conditioned soul. So, Purusha Anugrahitana indicates by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one is allowed to desire and act in this world. Based on the pious credit, what we have, accordingly, one can go on, enjoy in this material world. Now, let's understand from the description of the Lord Brahma, how Lord Brahma is born. Lord Brahma is born from Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, where it is mentioned that when he is born, Lord Mahavishnu, to create this material world, he has the pores, just like we have skin pores, and we are also sweating. But Mahavishnu's sweating is different. He is sweating, the whole half of the universe is filling with water just from his sweating. So, because in his pores, what is there? Seeds are there. What kind of seeds? There, in the Brahma Samhita, it explains that. Uh, तद्रोम बीजे जालेषु बीजं संकर्षणस्य च हैमानि अंडानि जातानि महाभूता अवते आवृतानि तु. The spiritual seeds of Sankarsana existing in the pores of skin of Mahavishnu are born as so many golden sperms. These sperms are covered with five great elements, which are earth, water, air, fire, ether. These five Mahabhutas. So those are these seeds. How this material world is getting created, Big Bang theory, whatever theory they come up with. This is all because of the coming from the skin pores of Mahavishnu, Garbhodaka Vishnu. Karnodaka Sai Vishnu from initially. Then he is expanding himself as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, three Mahavishnus. One is Mahavishnu, the three Purushavatars they call, and the second one is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. From him, from his navel, Lord Brahma is born. So Lord Brahma himself is explaining what he has seen. So that's why in this Brahma Samhita, Lord is explaining that. From that great lotus flower, Brahma was generated, but Brahma certainly could see nothing but the lotus, no female part. Garbhodaka Vishnu is lying down in the all the way at the bottom of the universe. From his navel, lotus stem, lotus flower has produced, and then from a lotus, Lord Brahma is born. Swayambhuva is called. Hiranyagarbha is called. Different names he's been given. And then he's searching. 100 years of his 100 years he spent to search who he is, where he is born from. In that lotus, he went, tried to go down, but he couldn't find the source, who actually his father is, what is his identity is, and what he's supposed to do. He couldn't find. After 100 years, then finally, so there is mentioned to find the source of the lotus for 100 years. He could find no trace of you. However, for when a seed fructifies, the original seed cannot be seen. Just like you take a cotton, you make a thread. Can you see the cotton? You can't see any more cotton. You take a thread and you weave a cloth. So then, can you see the thread? You can't see anymore. So same way like that. So when you sow a seed, then the tree already, so they can't see the seed. Same way. So Lord Brahma, when he is produced, then he couldn't see where he has come. No, he couldn't see. So that's what is being mentioning here. The original seed cannot be seen. For now, how one can come out of these seeds? How one can come out of these anya bij, unwanted seeds, instead of the prema bij, seed of Krishna prema? How one can come? Is one has to come out from the this rajas tamas, that means passion, ignorance, and even goodness. Even goodness is binding. So that means one must execute devotion service, especially under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master. The easiest way is that, as Shastra is explaining, what will happen at the time of initiation, one who takes, that's why is mentioned. Ye Brahmande Brahmite Rup कौन भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण कृपा पाए भक्ति लता बीज. The seed of bhakti, not seed of karma beej, jnana beej, yoga beej, that from our own endeavor it can be obtained. But bhakti beej, the seed of bhakti cannot be obtained by our own endeavor. It requires mercy from Lord and his pure devotee. So, so that's why the bhakti, seed of bhakti has to be sown, just like we have to sow a seed in the soil, then the plant comes out. Same way, in order for bhakti beej to grow in our heart by removing other seeds, so that means somebody has to till the land, somebody has to, the field of activity. What is the field of activity? The soul, the heart. Just like the agriculture land is the sow, where the land field of activity where you sow the seed. So where is our field of activity? Is the soul, where see soul is situated in the heart. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. Hrit means heart. The soul is situated in the heart. Even the super soul, Paramatma, is also in the heart, which means above the gross body, subtle body is there. Gross body is this all these Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, the hands, the legs, this is gross body. And mind into the false ego is subtle body. Even further subtler than that is the soul, which is there inside the heart. No one can find a trace because it's so teeny. Keshagra Satabhaga Satadha Kalpa. 1/10,000 tip of the hair. Tip of the hair itself so small. If you cut 10,000 times of that, you can't find a instrument to see that. So that is the soul side. That's why you can see it. And Paramatma is also. Both are there in the heart. So that is a Divya Gnan Hruda Prakashito. So that has to be given by. So that's why Bhakti Bija has to be sown in the heart, in that field, after tilling. Who is tilling? The Lord Balaram, Nityananda Balaram, Lord Krishna's brother. He is the Adi Guru. He is the one who cleans up. The spiritual master is the representative of Lord Balaram. Now, Srimad Radharani. Spiritual master carries the potency and mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Srimati Radharani. So they are the expansions of the Lord through them. So by their mercy, by spiritual master mercy, then the bhakti, our fruitive activity mentality is purified to some extent, and then the bhakti seed is sown in our heart by the pure devotee. So that's a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioning that. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan. Sei kale Krishna tare Krishna atma sama. At the time of initiation, that is surrendering to a spiritual master. When a devotee fully surrenders unto the service of the Lord, Krishna accepts him to be as good as himself, atma sa. That means it is not a formality. Yes, you sit in fire yajna, you sit in front of deities, you sit in front of the devotees, just like the marriage. There is vivaha yajna also. Yajna is there because you are calling a pujari brahmana and you are calling the fire. In front of the fire god, in front of the pujari, in front of the devotees, in front of the elders, superiors, you are getting the blessings, you are taking a commitment that we both together we're going to lead the life with Krishna in the center. That's what Grihastha Ashram is called out as Grihastha Ashram. Lord Vishnu is in the center. That is what, if you hear, most of the time they are not speaking during the marriage. They chant mantra there. Nobody is explaining. Very few times they explain what is it meant to be. But if you read from the book Satkriya Saradipika, where all these sacrifices are mentioned, there pretty much you look at the Chudakaran Samskara, Annaprasana, any Samskara you look at, hair cutting ceremony or ear piercing ceremony or feeding the baby at 6 months, pretty much every aspect of it where Lord Vishnu is in the center. Everywhere it is mentioned, the detail in that book. But most of the times, Pujari is only finishing your mantra, is not explaining anything, what is meant to be, what is significance of it, why you need to do it. They just finish and done with it. So that's why most of the people doesn't know what is the purpose behind to perform. Because samskarat bhaved bija, we get purified. The chitta, the consciousness gets purified. The baby and the parent, those who are involved, if it is done as per the Shastric injunction. So that's why it should be done by the proper priest. Otherwise, different results come too. So that's why we have to know where to go, whom to perform with, which priest to select. All these things must be understood. Anyway, so that's why here Lord Krishna is mentioning that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is mentioning that at the time of initiation, what is happening, it is not a formality, but because we are taking commitment to follow the instruction of the spiritual master, that we want to connect eternally with the Lord through his representative by so that he can sow the seed at the time of initiation of bhakti beej in the heart, so that bhakti bija will grow and all other bijas will get purified. Means the fruity mentality will get purified, all the unwanted desire get purified. So we'll start developing love towards every living entity. So love transforms through the Lord. So even though we might be performing work, we might be performing all activities in the community, in the family, and the temple service, everything, but everything there will be a transformation effect because Krishna comes into picture, spiritual master comes into picture. Everything is done through them, they are in the center. So that is the difference. That's why it is called Atma Samarpan. You are offering yourself to their lotus feet and to their service. Everything you are seeing through their eyes and through their service. Then automatically it becomes a loving exchanges, loving affection. It's not a duty anymore. It is not an obligation. So it is a matter of love and loving exchanges. So that's why when we come to temple, we take a flower or a fruit because we want to develop the loving exchange. As you go to the guest, you go to the parent, you go to grandparent, you want to buy something, you want to offer something. So like that, we also have to have develop that loving exchanges with the Lord, even though it may be mechanical initially, but we have to start developing that love by offering ourselves, even though Lord doesn't need anything. It is for our benefit. We get develop that attachment and that rasa when we start interacting with the Lord. So you don't need to be a pujari to be develop that attachment, attraction, and loving feelings with the Lord. We can be indirectly doing it, even though as not as a pujari, but as a spectator in the temple. But, so that's why it is required to have that loving relationship by doing that kind of service. Now, when the Brahma has seen, then what has happened? It is explained. Brahma could see that on the water there was a gigantic lotus-like white bedstead, the body of Seshnath. This after 100 years. Then Lord has given the mercy. Lord has sown the seed of bhakti, and he has, through flute sound of Lord Krishna, Tene Brahmardaya Adikave, he has received the transcendental knowledge through the flute sound of Lord Krishna. Then he was initiated through Gayatri mantras, it is called. So there it has been explained that what he has seen, beautiful description is given. Lord Brahma himself is describing that what he has seen. So this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Beautiful description. The luster of the transcendental body of the Lord mocked the beauty of Coral Mountain. The Coral Mountain is very beautifully dressed by evening sky, but the yellow dress of the Lord mocked its beauty. There is a gold on the summit of the mountain, but the Lord's helmet bedecked with jewels mocked it. The mountains, waterfalls, herbs, etc., with panorama of flowers seem like garlands, but the Lord's gigantic body and its hands, legs, decorated with jewels, pearls, tulsi leaves, and flower garlands, mock the scene of the mountain. This is what he has seen. He is seeing Vaikunta. When he was given the mercy, when he was initiated, when the seed was sown, the bhakti seed was sown in the heart, then he was able to see Vaikuntha where he is sitting. He is there in the material world, in the material one of the universe, like where we are in. This is our Brahma, four-headed Brahma. We'll come to that when we come to the next verse. It is describing the opulence where we'll describe what kind of Brahma, what do you mean? This four-headed Brahma, there are so many Brahmas, so many Shivas. That is explained. How much opulence is there of Lord Krishna. So but here the small, insignificant opulence is given. What Lord Brahma has seen within this universe, that Lord Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, what is his dress, how does he look like, all that is described, what he is seeing, the Vaikuntha from here. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle, and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness and was properly ornamented. And not only that, the Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotion service free from all material contaminators. Such awards are for those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental race, and from his moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a lotus flower. So further, as mentioned, he also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their desires by his beautiful smile. The reflection of his face, decorated with earrings, was so pleasing because it dazzled with the rays from his lips and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows. Kadamba Kinjal Kapisanga Vasasa Swalang Krutam Mekalaya Nitambe Arena Cha Ananta Danena Vatsa Srivatsa Vakshasthala Vallavena. Oh my dear Vidura, the Lord's waist was covered with yellow cloth, resembling the saffron dust of the Kadamba flower, and it was encircled by a well decorated belt. His chest was decorated with Srivatsa marking and a necklace of unlimited value. परार्ध केयूर मणि प्रवेक पर्यस्त दंड सहस्र शाखम अव्यक्त मूलम भुवनांग्रिरे उपेन्द्रम अहिंद्र भोगैर अधिवीत Valsam. As a sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was self-situated tree, the Lord of all others in this universe, and as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's body was also covered by hoods of Ananta. This Ananta is again Lord Balram's expansion. Ananta Dev is like a bed. Lord Balram expands as a bed, as a shoes, as umbrella, whatever you see in the temples, especially Lord Vishnu where he resides, everything is expansion of Lord Balram. So that's why we have to be careful not to touch anything with feet, because Lord Balram expands himself into all those paraphernalia. As umbrella, as a shoes, as a fan, the everything pretty much, the bell, the conch. So like that, all these are expansions of Lord Balram. So is even including the bed where he's lying down. Ananta Padmanabh temple in India, very famous. So that's again lying on that big snake, hoods of Ananta. It becomes like a soft, cozy bed for Lord Vishnu. So that's all Lord Balram expanding himself. So like a great mountain, the Lord stands as the abode of all moving and non-moving living entities. He is the friend of the snakes because Lord Ananta is his friend. As a mountain has thousands of golden peaks, so the Lord was seen with thousands of golden helmet hoods of Ananta's age. And as a mountain is sometimes filled with jewels, so also its transcendental body was fully decorated with valuable jewels. As a mountain is sometimes submerged in the ocean water, so the Lord sometimes submerged in the water of devastation. So Lord Brahma, thus looking upon the Lord in the shape of a mountain, concluded that he was Hari, the personality of Godhead. He saw that the garland of flowers on his chest glorified him with Vedic wisdom in sweet songs and looked very.
Where do you want to go? What do you want?
Hare Krishna.
Huh?
Hold on, hold on. Mute your line, mute your line. Can't even see. Okay. So describing Lord Brahma, what he's seeing, the once the Bhakti Beej was sown in the heart by Lord Krishna's flute sound. What is seeing? The Vaikuntha itself is seeing. The Lord's beautiful form is seeing. Lord Brahma, thus looking at the Lord in the shape of mountain, concludes that he was Hari, the personality of Godhead. He saw the garland of flowers with his chest glorified. On his chest glorified him with Vedic wisdom and sweet songs and looked very beautiful. He was protected by Sudarshana wheel for fighting, and even the sun, moon, air, fire, etc., could not have access to him. So, brother, when Lord Brahma, the maker of the universal destiny, thus saw the Lord, he simultaneously glanced over creation. Lord Brahma saw the lake in Lord Vishnu's navel, and the lotus flower, as well as devastating water, and drying air, and the sky, all became visible to him. See, when Lord is satisfied with his penance, he has performed austerities. He hovered before that tapa, 2 letters, after 100 years. Then he performs severe austerity to understand what is the source, what is the truth, absolute truth. Then Lord Krishna revealed in the heart through flute sound, through two Gayatri mantras. Then he is seeing the Lord in this way, beautiful way, because it is not by speculation, it has to be by loving devotion. Then Lord will reveal. So that's what happened. So that's where the seed has to be. So what we are learning is we have various seeds. We have to burn those seeds or remove or purify those seeds. We don't need to run away from any problem. All we have to do is transfer our strength, energy with Krishna in the center into activity with loving exchanges, especially through a spiritual master, because the bhakti adhikar, the qualification to receive the mercy of the Lord, qualification to do service, qualification to understand and develop attachment to the Lord is coming through the especially through spiritual master, where it is mentioned there are so many processes, so much difficult to come to the Lord. But there is one process which is very easy and quickly. Prahlad Maharaj is explaining, after explaining so many different ways, Prahlad Maharaj is explaining how one can actually attain him. रजस्तमश्च सत्वेन सत्वं च उपशमेन च एतत् सर्वं गुरु भक्त्या पुरुषो हि अंजसा त्यजेत्. One must conquer the mode of passion and ignorance by developing the mode of goodness, and then one must become detached from the mode of goodness by promoting oneself to the platform of Suddha Sattva, pure goodness. But all this can be automatically done if one engages in the service of the spiritual master with faith and devotion. In this way, one can conquer the influence of the modes of nature. Pretty much, basically, he has described 20, 30 verses before, and he's coming to the conclusion that simply by serving the spiritual master, etat sarvam, everything pretty much, you'll receive all the credits, all the impurities will be taken away, purified by simply Guru Bhaktya, Purusho hi Anjasa Tyajet. And same thing before also, in another chapter also, he is explaining that. in 2 verses. Again, this is Prahlad Maharaj only. And he is describing that one must accept a bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master, and in the association of saintly persons and devotees, one should worship the Lord. Just look at the Arjuna's example. Arjuna surrendered to Lord Krishna. Until that, only friendly talk was going on. Chapter 1, Lord Krishna didn't even utter a word. Chapter 2, beginning, he's still in dilemma. He was thinking to renounce on good forest. Then he put himself at the feet of Lord Krishna, surrendered 2.7. He received the initiation. And then Lord Krishna started giving instruction. Before that, he only chastised mildly in the beginning of second chapter. Then he understood, okay, now I have to become serious. No more friendly talks. Let me actually take shelter of the Lord. And then he took. Obviously, Lord Krishna is the Sakya Bhav, that's why directly. But for us, it is not possible. We have to have a living Guru. So that's why Shastra is instructing here. Just like Arjuna, just like Prahlad Maharaj has taken shelter of Narada Muni. Narada Muni instructed him within the womb of Mother Kayadu. Prahlad Maharaj learned everything in the womb. So like Narada Muni has received initiation from Bhakti Vedanta, Vyasadeva has received from Narada Muni. Like that. So pretty much Lord Krishna, when he come here also, Sandeepana Muni has taken. So like the Lord Ramachandra, what is it? Yeah, I think Vishwamitra Muni. So or the what is the other one? So forget. So yeah, always the Lord also shows by his own example. So that is a must, mandatory. So one must accept the Muhammad spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. Whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to spiritual master, and in the association of saintly person, devotees, one should worship the Lord. Hear the glories of the Lord with faith, glorify the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord. Always meditate on the Lord's lotus feet and worship the deity of the Lord strictly according to the injunctions of Shastra and Guru. So, in this previous verse, it has been said that the process which immediately increases one's love and affection for the Supreme Lord, personality of Godhead, is the best of the many thousands of ways to become free from entanglement of material existence. It is also said the truth of religious principle is extremely confidential. Nonetheless, it can be understood very easily if one actually adopts the principles of religion through the pure devotee. So that's why it becomes very easy. So it is, yeah, that's what is mentioned here. So गुरु पदाश्रय तस्मात् कृष्ण दीक्षादि शिक्षणम विश्रम्भयन गुरो सेवा साधु वर्तमान वर्तनम सद्धर्म पृच्छा भोगादि त्याग कृष्णस्य हेतवे. So one's first duty is accept bona fide spiritual master. The student or disciple should be very inquisitive. He should be eager to know the complete truth about eternal religion, Sanatana Dharma. The word Guru Susrushaya means one should personally serve the spiritual master by giving him bodily comforts, helping him in bathing, dressing, sleeping, eating, so on. This is called Guru Sushrushanam. A disciple should serve the spiritual master as a menial servant. Whatever he has in his possession should be dedicated to the spiritual master. Pranayar, Ardhayar, Dhyayar, Vacha. Everyone has his life, his wealth, his intelligence, and his words, all of them should be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of the spiritual master. So, in this way, then he's explaining that. So, by these activities, as mentioned above, one is able to cut down the influence of the enemies, namely lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, jealousy. These are the 6 anartha bija, anya bij, karma bij, jnana bij, yoga bij, and others. And when thus situated, one can render service to the Lord. In this way, one surely attains the platform of loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That means it is guaranteed. Any other process, karma yoga, gnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, no guarantee. No guarantee even to get human birth in the next life. But for the process of bhakti, guarantee is given again and again repeatedly in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and all the examples of the great devotees. So again and again repeatedly is stressed to take the process of devotion service. This is the inner essence of this particular verse of 39, the seed. Even though Lord Krishna is mentioning that I am the seed giving father, I am the source of all the seeds. Whatever you see in this material world, spiritual world, everything is coming from me. So underlying fact is we have to give up unwanted seeds and or purify our seeds through with Krishna in the center and offer our service slowly and gradually. In that way, we can actually perfect our life and then we will become anxiety free. That's what is the main purpose of behind Lord Krishna mentioning the actual seed of all existences. Now the next verse is the opulence. beautiful description is given. We should start with the Rajendra Nandan Krishna. So, who is Krishna? Krishna has many forms. So, especially in what form of Krishna? As because there is Vasudeva Krishna, Dwaraka Krishna. We're not even talking Lord Vishnu. We're talking at the highest level, the topmost. Goloka eva nivasa dakilatma bhuto govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So, where it is mentioned that um, Devi Mahesh Haridham Suteshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Prakadaschayana Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajam. There are different abodes. Where we are there, that is called Devi Dham, Durga Dham, material world. And above that is Mahesh Dham, Lord Shiva's abode. Above that is the Haridham, Vaikuntha Dham. Above that is Dwaraka Dham. Above that is Jagannath Puri. Above that is Mathura Dham. Above that is actually before the Dwaraka, the Ayodhya Dham, then above that is Dwaraka, above the Jagannath Puri, above Jagannath Puri is Mathura, above Mathura is Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. Golokadam Nijadam Nitale Chatasya Devi Mahesh Haridam Shute Shuteshu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Prakadaschayana Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajam. Lord Brahma himself is describing. So now we are coming to that Dwaraka Krishna is complete. Then further, Mathura Krishna is more complete because there is Aishwarya Bhav. The queens of Dwaraka has Aishwarya Bhav mixed with Jnana. More it goes to Mathura, even further, little more intense. So that is it more complete. But when it comes to Vrindavan, is most complete. Lord Krishna is in the topmost form, nowhere else. And that means no more Gnana. It is completely Madhurya, the topmost, the highest. It can't get any better than this. So what is that form? So Acharya explained, it is called Gopa Vesh, Venu Kara Vesh, Nava Kishora, Nadavara Vesh, Kishora Krishna. This is the beautiful form of Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna having a flute. Lord is not having a flute in Dwaraka, is not having a flute in Mathura, is only having a flute only in Golok Vrindavan as Vrajendra Nandan Krishna, Shama Sundar Krishna, Kishore Krishna, as it is described here. So, Prabhupada is describing. In what form does he appear in Rajabhumi? He is appearing in Gopavesh, Venu Karavesh, Navakaravesh, Nitya Navayavam, Nityam Navayavam is never the same. He never becomes old. That Navakishora is in Vrajabhumi. Venukara, he has a flute in hand. This flute is not in Mathura, not in Dwarka. It is only in Vrajabhumi. Prabhupada has written the special significance of Krishna bearing the flute in his hands in Vrindavana, Vrajabhumi. Therefore, only Krishna in Vrajabhumi is Madhurya Nilay, the reservoir of all Madhuryas. You will never find these Madhuryas in any other form of Krishna. So, just like the example will be one is going to office, he is having a different dress. One is going outside, different dress. One who is at home, different dress. That's what Prabhupada said. Bombay is my office. Vrindavan is my home. Mayapur, my place of worship. So Sridham Mayapur is the world ISKCON headquarters. It is the place of worship. So that's why you look at the beauty, you look at the way that they are dressed, it's inconceivable. Every day it's their gorgeous darshan. The way that they, because we have no power. It is directly because this abode, the Mayapur Dham, is created by Srimati Radharani for the pleasure of Lord Sri Krishna. So Mayapur Dham especially. Vrindavan is the abode of Srimati Radharani, but Radharani herself created this abode, Mayapur Dham, for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. So that's why every day is like worship is going on like most beautifully, most gorgeously. So so that's why you can see that in that dressing. Now let's look at the the opulence of the Supreme Lord as being described by what Lord Brahma himself has seen. So that then we can understand what he's seeing. So Lord Brahma is describing. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing to Sanatana Goswami. The spiritual qualities of Lord Krishna are unlimited. Great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras cannot estimate the spiritual qualities of the Lord. In time, great scientists may be able to count all the atoms of the universe, all the stars and planets in the sky, all the particles of snow. But who among them can count the unlimited transcendental qualities of Supreme Personality of Godhead? He descends on the surface of the globe for the benefit of all living entities. To say nothing of Lord Brahma, even Lord Ananda, who has thousands of heads, cannot reach the end of the Lord's transcendental qualities, even though he is continuously chanting their praises. If I, Lord Brahma, and your elder brothers, the great saints and sages, cannot understand the limits of the Supreme Lord, who is full of various energies, who else can understand them? Although constantly chanting about his transcendental qualities, the thousand-hooded Lord Shesha has not yet reached the end of Lord's activities. To say nothing of Lord Ananta, even Lord Krishna himself cannot find an end to his own transcendental qualities. Indeed, he himself is always eager to know them. My Lord, you are unlimited. Even the predominating deities of the higher planetary system, including Lord Brahma, cannot find your limitation. Now, can you yourself ascertain the limit of your qualities? Apart from all argument, logic, and negative or positive, when Lord Sri Krishna was present as the Supreme Personality at Vrindavan, no one could find a limit to his potencies by studying his characteristics, because he was only few years, hardly 5, 6 years. He performed Rasalila. How much he expanded? He himself is expanded into billions of Krishnas, because those many billions of gopis are there. Uh, Billions of. You can't even. It is inconceivable, because if you look at the Vrindavan in an ordinary vision, the place is not enough. Billions of people, the whole world, 7 continents, how much population? Is not compared with the billions of gopis. Lord Krishna is performing his pastimes. So many times he himself is expanding those many forms. With each and every gopi, Lord Krishna is there. You cannot even inconceivable how he expands, how the whole abode gets expanded. You can't even see it. So it is that is what it is. That's why here Lord Brahma is describing that I can't even understand this. How much? That's why he's telling Arjuna, what I am describing is only teeny portion. It's my vibhutis are divya, transcendental. It is unlimited. You cannot even understand. Even Lord Ananta, Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma cannot even finish this. We do not hear of such wonderful things anywhere else. Simply by once hearing of these incidents, one's consciousness is agitated and cleansed. According to Sukadeva Goswami, Krishna has unlimited calves and covered boys with him. No one could count their actual number. Not only that, we are getting further. So one time, this pastime is there. Once when Krishna was ruling Dwaraka, Lord Brahma came to see him, and the doorman immediately informed Lord Krishna of Brahma's arrival. When Krishna was so informed, he immediately asked the doorman, which Brahma? What is his name? The doorman therefore returned and questioned Lord Brahma. When the doorman asked, which Brahma? Lord Brahma was surprised. He told the doorman, please go and inform Lord Krishna that I am the four-headed Brahma, because the current Brahma, where we are in the smallest universe, is called Chaturmukha Brahma. He is not the only Brahma. We are not the only ones who are there in the material world. There are many universes. We are in the smallest universe. We are in the smallest universe. So that's why what we have, Srimad Bhagavatam, is only a portion available for us on this earthly planet. That itself is 12 cantos. We have a hard time reading, hard time finishing. Srimad Bhagavatam itself is a huge 12 books. It takes long time to read and understand. Here, imagine how much vast it is. The glories of Lord Krishna, and pastimes of Lord Krishna, and forms of Lord Krishna. So that's why this is being described here. Now, Lord Brahma himself is witnessing what's happening here. He himself is surprised. The doorman then informed Lord Krishna of Lord Brahma's description, that Lord Krishna gave him permission to enter. The doorman escorted Lord Brahma in. As soon as Brahma saw Lord Krishna, he offered obeisance at his lotus feet. After being worshipped by Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna also honored him with suitable words. Then Lord Krishna asked him, why have you come here? Being questioned, Lord Brahma immediately replied, later I shall tell you why I have come. First of all, there is a doubt in my mind, which I wish you would kindly dissipate. Why did you inquire which Brahma had come to see you? What is the purpose of such an inquiry? Is there any other Brahma besides me within this universe? Upon hearing this, Sri Krishna smiled and immediately meditated. Unlimited Brahmas arrived instantly. These Brahmas had different numbers of heads. Some had 10 heads, some 20, some 100, some 1000, some 10,000, some 100,000, some 10 million, and others 100 million. No one can count the number of faces they had. There also arrived many Lord Shivas with various heads. We know Panchamukha Shiva. In India, there are many places, Lord Shiva with 5 heads. But you see this description. That's why what we know is nothing. So that's why we have to be always think that we are not qualified. We have We don't have strength, we don't have energy. We have to depend on the Lord. We have to depend on His representative, spiritual master. They are also arrived many Lord Shivas with various heads, numbering 100,000 and 10 million. Many Indras also arrived. They had hundreds of thousands of eyes all over the body because Indra has that curse. His whole body became eyes everywhere. That's why it is mentioned here. Hundreds of thousands of eyes all over the body. When their four-headed Brahma of this universe saw all these opulences of Krishna, he became very much bewildered and considered himself a rabbit among many elephants. All the Brahmas who came to see Krishna offered their respects at his lotus feet, and when they did this, their helmets touched the lotus feet. No one can estimate the inconceivable potency of Krishna. All the Brahmas who were there were resting in the one body of Krishna. When all the helmets struck together at Krishna's lotus feet, there was a tumultuous sound. It appeared that the helmet themselves were offering prayers unto Krishna's lotus feet. So, with all folded hands, all the Brahmas and Shivas began to offer prayers unto Lord Krishna, saying, "O Lord, you have shown me a great favor. I have been able to see your lotus feet." All of them then said, "It is my great fortune, Lord, that you have called me, thinking of me as your servant. Now let me know what your order is, so that I may carry it on my heads." This is the opulence we are talking about. Now, let's hear the beauty. We are going one by one. It gets more interesting. You can't get any better than this. See. All men and women are accustomed to enjoy the beauty of the shining face of Lord Krishna, as well as his sharp-shaped earrings, swinging on his ears, Makara Kundala. This description is there in few of the songs of Lord Krishna, Makara Kundala. His beautiful features, his cheeks, his playful smiles, all combined to form a constant festival for the eyes. And blinking of eyes became obstacles that impeded one from seeing the beauty. For this reason, men and women became very angry at the creator of Lord Brahma, why he has created these eyes, which are to be closing and opening. The eyelids has to close and open. Why? He doesn't know how to create. That's what they're chastising gopis. Oh Krishna, when you go to the forest during the day, we do not see your sweet face, which is surrounded by beautiful curly hair. Half a second becomes as long as the entire age for us, and we consider the creator who has put eyelids on the eyes we use for seeing you to be simply a fool. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is identical with the Vedic hymn known as Kama Gayatri, which is composed of 24 and a half syllables. Now, these symbols are compared to the moons that arise in Krishna. So that means there are 24 and a half moons. Comparison is given. Beautiful description. This is another opulence. Thus, all these words are filled with desire. The face of Krishna is the king of all the moons, and the body of Krishna is the throne. Thus, the king governs a society of moons. Krishna has two cheeks that shine like glowing gems. Both are considered full moons. His forehead is considered a half moon, and the spot of sandalwood tree there is considered a full moon. His fingernails are many full moons, and they dance on the flute in his hands. Their song is the melody of that flute. His toenails are also many full moons, and they dance on the ground. Their song is the jingling of his ankle bells. Krishna's face is the enjoyer king. That full moon face makes his sharp-shaped earrings and lotus eyes dance. His eyebrows are like bows, and his eyes are like arrows. His ears are fixed in the string of that bow. And when his eyes spread to his ears, he pierces the hearts of the gopis. The dancing feature of his face surpasses all other full moons and expands the marketplace of full moons. Although the priceless the nectar of Krishna's face is distributed to everyone. Some purchase the moon rays of his sweet smiles, and others purchase the nectar of his lips. Thus he pleases everyone. Krishna has two reddish, widely spread eyes. These are ministers of the king. They subdue the pride of Cupid, who also has beautiful eyes. That face of Govinda, which is full of opulence, is the home of pastimes of beauty, and it is very pleasing to everyone's eyes. If by devotion service one gets the result of pious activities and sees Lord Krishna's face, what can he relish with only two eyes? His greed and thirst increase twofold by seeing the nectarian face of Krishna. Due to his inability to sufficiently drink that nectar, he becomes very unhappy and criticizes the Creator for not having given more than two eyes. So the creator says, let those who will see Krishna's beautiful face as two eyes just see the lack of consideration exhibited by this person posing as creator. If the creator took my advice, he would have given millions of eyes to see the person who intends to see Krishna's face. If the creator will accept this advice, then I would say that he is competent in his work. This goes on. The sweetness of Lord Krishna, his beauty. Sri Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, full of all opulences, and his complete opulence are exhibited only in Vrindavan Dham. See this. Vrindavan Dham is made of transcendental touchstone. In its entire surface is the source of all valuable jewels, and Chintamani stone is used to decorate the lotus feet of the maid servants of Vrindavan. Chintamani Mai Bhumi Ratnera Bhavana Chintamani Gana Dasi Charana Bhushana. Description. Kalpa Vriksha Latara Yahan Sahajaika Vana Pushpa Phala Vina Keha Namaye Anya Dana. Vrindavan is the natural forest of desired trees and creepers, and the inhabitant do not want anything but the fruits and flowers of those desired trees. So that's why I was mentioning in the morning also one verse that in Vrindavan, in the transcendental abode, in the spiritual world, everything is conscious. His jewelry, his helmets, everything, pretty much everything. There is nothing which is unconscious. Whether it's a bird or a dog or a cat or a parrot or a river or a mountain, everyone is conscious. As Prachit, what is that? Vishwakarma is describing, or Vishwarup is describing to Indra to conquer the demigods, conquer the demons at the time about Narayana shield, specific mantras. There is describing that Sarva Apadebhyo Harinama Rupa Yani Yani Ayudani Bhutendriya Mano Pranan. So Punatu Bhushanamve. So just all what you call all impediments, sarva apada means whatever fears, anxieties, impediments, whatever difficulties, everything can be removed by simply the chanting of the Lord's holy name. En nama Hari Nama Rupa Ayudani, his form, his holy name, and his club, his earrings, all his paraphernalia, his club, his conch shell, all those mentioned. Yani Ayudani. What will happen? Buddhi, Mana, Indriya, Prana. Our intelligence, our mind, our senses, everything gets purified. All the unwanted things, all the impurities, all the disturbance, all the anxieties will be removed by taking the shelter of the Lord's paraphernalia, even Lord's paraphernalia, because everything is conscious in Vaikuntha. So including the conch shell, including his club, including his mace, his disc, everything pretty much. So that way description that here also we see that. Vrindavan is a natural forest of desired trees and creepers. The inhabitants do not want anything but the fruits and flowers of those desired trees, because everything can give everything pretty much in Vrindavan. Ananta Kamadenu Tahan Pire Vane Vane Dugda Matra Dena Keha Na Maye Anya Dhane. In Vrindavan there are cows that fulfill desire, all desires, Kamadenus, and their number is unlimited. They gaze from forest to forest and deliver only milk. The people want nothing else. In Vrindavana, the natural speech of the people sound like music, and their natural motion resembles a dance. Sahaja lokera katha yahan divya gita. Sahaja gamana kare yaiche nrutya pratita. So everything is like a dance. That's why we are trying to enjoy by going to dance. But here, naturally, it's a bliss, ecstatic bliss in Vrindavan. In the spiritual world, everything is bliss. The dancing, the chanting, the word, the talking, everything pretty much. Everyone is conscious. It's so blissful. Sarvatra Jala Yahan Amrita Saman. Chidananda Jyoti Swadhya Yahan Murtiman. The water in Vrindavan is nectar. The Brahma Jyoti effulgence, which is full of transcendental bliss, is directly perceived there in its form. The gopi is there also, the goddess of fortune, and they surpass the goddess of fortune who abides in Vaikuntha. In Vrindavan, the Lord Krishna is always playing his transcendental flute, which is his dear companion. The damsels of this is a beautiful verse. Sriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Dhuma Bhumi Chinta Mani Ganamai Toyam Amrutam Kata Ganam Natyam Gamanam Vivam Sipriya Saki Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapi Tat Aswadyam Apicha. The damsels of Vrindavana, the gopis, are superior goddess of fortune. The enjoyer in Vrindavana is the supreme personality of God Krishna. The trees there also are will wish fulfilling trees. The land is made of transcendental touchstone. The water is all nectar. The talking is singing. The walking is dancing. The constant companion of Krishna is flute. The effulgence of transcendental bliss is experienced everywhere. Therefore, The Vrindavan Dham is the only realizable abode. This is the highest. This is the highest rasa. So in Vrindavana is the great place of pilgrimage. Underneath the desire tree is a golden throne bedecked with jewels. Taha vasi aiche sada Brajendra Nandana Sri Govinda Deva Nama Sakshat Madana. On that throne sits the son of Nanda Maharaj, Sri Govinda Dev, the transcendental Cupid. Varieties of majestic service are rendered to Govinda there. His garments, his ornaments, his paraphernalia are all transcendental. As in this verse, Lord Krishna described. Raja Seva Haya Tata Vichitra Prakar Divya Samagri Divya Vastra Divya Alankar. Everything is Divya. As Lord Krishna has mentioned to Arjuna, that my opulences are Divya, transcendental. Here also, Lord Govinda Dev in Vrindavan, Radha Govinda Dev temple, beautiful temple. Even though it is destroyed, some of them, some portions is destroyed by Mughals, but still it is there. It cannot be built now, that kind of opulent temple. Divya Samagri, everything is transcendental, garments, ornaments, paraphernalia, everything pretty much. In the temple of Govindaji, thousands of servitors always render service to the Lord in devotion. Even with thousands of mouths, one could not describe this service. How much service they do, where they get strength, how many, some of them you cannot even see who's coming to serve the Lord. Demigods, Siddhas, Charanas, because this is Vrindavan, obviously. Even Jagannath Puri, Lord gives darshan in the midnight, 11 to 12. Who? All the demigods come to take darshan. That is the most opulent darshan in Jagannath Puri also. So that says it's inconceivable for us because we are not able to see. That doesn't mean that it is not there. Sevar Adhyaka Sri Pandita Haridas Tanra Yata Guna Sarva Jagate Prakash. In that temple, the chief servitor was Sri Haridas Pandit. His qualities and fame are known all over the world. This is Haridas Pandit, one of the disciples. His intense service. He is the in charge there, making sure Radha Govind Dev's service is eternally going on. So that's why it is very important to understand these opulences of the Lord. So that's why we should do service to the Lord, because naturally we become opulent. Whatever we offer, we are being beautified. We are making one step towards the Lord. Lord will take 100 steps towards us. So Lord is always reciprocating with us. So that's why it helps us to do service. If we do service, then Lord will more and more help us to actually to be rightly situated and remove our anxieties, distress, suffering, as in these verses it has been described. That's what this verse number 39 and 40 are describing, how we can remove unwanted seeds, how we can come to the bliss of the ecstatic concentrated bliss, then describing the various opulence of Lord Krishna's form, his abode, his opulences of Vrindavan, especially the Golok Vrindavan, especially above all other abodes, above Vaikuntha, above Dwaraka, Mathura, Jagannath Puri, coming to the highest abode of Golok Vrindavan. There he only has flute. Nowhere else Lord Krishna has flute. We were describing yesterday also. That is Nava Vrindavan. There is a beautiful pastime. We'll describe some other day in this class also. So we'll stop here. Anyone has any questions, you can ask. If not, then anyone has any questions, what we discussed so far, or any other topic, you're unmuted, you can ask. If not, we'll conclude today's